Hello, Florence here. Today, I want to talk about recruitment, especially in care around this time. I know I've made a lot of videos previously where I mentioned about preparation, where I mentioned about recruitment being low, especially for the NHS. But today, I've got good news because I've come across a few recruitment events where they are recruiting massively. However, disclaimer here, there is no guarantees that there is going to be sponsorship, but this is worth the while, especially for those that have been working in care for a long time and you feel, I want a change of scene. I want a change of environment. I did it. You all know my story. I've shared it time and again of how I joined the NHS. I'll share briefly with you just in case this is the first time you're watching or you're hearing my story. So I had applied for ages and ages with no success, hundreds, if not thousands of applications I did send through. One thing about me, if I want something, I really put my energy, I put my everything into it. So I did the same with my NHS applications. However, it was with no success. Of course, there are a lot of things that I know now that I wish I knew then. And no wonder why I've decided I'm going to share a lot, as much as I know about my journey, about what worked for me. Because there are things that I'm discovering now that I go, oh my God, what was I even doing? And one of the things I'll share with you is the fact that I never, ever share my personal statement, the one that I applied to go into the NHS with, simply because it just does put me to shame. Through my mentorship program, where I'm running a subscription community where I'm coaching people on how to apply, how to come up with personal statements, I've learned a lot and I've gotten better at it. However, let's get right into this video. So Gloucestershire Hospital NHS Trust is holding a recruitment event for its emergency department. This is exciting news and this is the start of it. And I know every time I see a recruitment event, I know this is it for my people. So it's the emergency department that is running this recruitment event, and it's recruiting for adult nurses or charge nurses, band 6, and also it's recruiting for emergency department healthcare support workers, band 3. Why I'm excited is because I know band 3 is where sponsorship starts. Forget everything that's been going on. Forget meeting salary threshold, because the NHS, starting from April, is increasing salaries. So this is open season for recruitment. And one of the things that I figured out is the fact that government doesn't keep up with updates. Last year, they updated the salary threshold. But when organizations like the NHS and other private companies, when salaries increase, it will take a few months before the Home Office could even adjust. So this is a window of opportunity. If you've been looking into breaking into the NHS, then this is it. So this is on Saturday, the 28th of March, 2026. Get yourself there. If you live around the Gloucestershire, please, this is an opportunity that you should be thinking about if you're thinking the NHS is for you. They mentioned that you'll be able to meet members of the community, of the staff. You'll be able to take part in practical skill station, also guided tours of the department, and you never know, you could be interviewed on the spot, because that is what happened with me when I joined NHS Bank, which was very beneficial. One of the things that I always encourage people to do is, suppose you may go to this event and they go like, oh, we're not sponsoring at the moment. Always ask about joining bank. Always ask about doing it part-time, because it's getting yourself one foot in. It's when you are in there, you're in the zone, that sometimes you really get to bump into these opportunities. So the second opportunity that I want to talk to you about is another opportunity as well that is exciting to me, is another recruitment event that is being held by the Stockport Council. I love councils. I love the NHS because of its structure, its job security, things like that. I've done a whole video about why I would choose the NHS anytime, any day. And we will continue to talk about that in future conversations. No matter why, if you're watching this video on this platform, do please subscribe, share our videos so that a lot of people will benefit from this. So Stockport Council is recruiting residential support workers. Again, I'm not too sure whether or not they will be sponsoring, but one of the things that I've always said, and this is on the 24th of March 2026. So if you live around this area, Merseyside area, please get yourself there, because it's happening at Stockport Merseyside Shopping Centre. The details are up there. So one of the things Also, go on their website, go on these organizations' websites to see if you need to register, to see if it's a walk-in, so that you don't miss out on the nitty-gritties, on all the details, and in the end, miss a grant opportunity. The reason why I'm encouraging people to go, because a lot of people would then still ask me, are they sponsoring? Or last time they were not sponsored. What I can tell you is, if you see that an organization can employ nurses from abroad, can employ social workers from abroad, what that means is those people do have a sponsor license. However, it's at their discretion that they'll choose who they want to sponsor, when they want to sponsor, and how they want to do it. I'll always share, and what happened to me. When I applied for the job that I applied for, that I went on to go to the NHS to do, it didn't mention anywhere to say they were offering sponsorship, but I applied anyway. I don't know where I was getting the courage from. I don't know what was going on with me, but I'm glad I did. So what happened is, when I went an invite to that interview in particular, and I turned up. What I talk about turning up is turning up in basically turning up, looking good, looking like, that job for you. And then turning up in terms of how you prepare for, I like my life, because I knew my life did depend on it. So what happened next? I got the job. However, when I talk about it, I always sort of find out, because I got a phone call to say, well, we really liked you. Congratulations. We'd like to have you on board. So when can you come and have a tour of the ward, get your uniforms and start that? It was then that it dawned on me that I don't think they understood that if I was to work full time for them, I needed sponsorship. So I was like very bold to say, well, I won't be able to come and do all of that because I am on sponsorship and I'm with someone else. So if I'm to come and work for you, I would need sponsorship. And guess what? The rest is history, because they ended up having to organize all of that, like from scratch. Just went like, we'll get in touch with HR and they'll organize all of that. And within hours, I'd got my COS and I'd applied for my visa. I think I shared the whole story in detail in one of my videos. And I also am consistently sharing all of that on my Facebook page. It's Florence. Go and follow me there, because we do have interesting conversations there. So this conversation was just about the opportunities, and I know it's recruitment season. So every now and then, be on the lookout of these opportunities. If a recruitment is happening in your area, please make your way there. And also, I can never make a video about the NHS, about recruitment, about caregiver opportunities, and not mention the fact that if you're really serious about joining the NHS, one of the things that you can do that I swear by is join NHS Bank. It changed my life. It changed even, really getting recruited. I've shared in so many of my videos that by the time that I got the opportunity that sponsored me in the NHS, I had 3 interviews in 3 different hospitals within the trust that I work for. So recruitment events, bank, joining the bank, don't underestimate those opportunities. Also, one of the things that I do encourage people to do is volunteer within the NHS. You've got no idea how many doors that can unlock for you. It can open endless opportunities, because again, you're building your reference portfolio, you're building your experience portfolio, and you never know as well. It's this of meaningful connections. I'm big on networking. I'm big on mentorship and things like that as a booster for your chances of really getting through that door. So for those of you that will be going to these events, I wish you well. And where you can put in the comments if you're going, just type, I'm going, I'm attending, and also share if there is any need for registration, any need for this and that, just put in the comments. And again, before I end this video, one of the lessons, reflections that I got from people who attended previous recruitment events, getting more and more competitive. They're getting overwhelming numbers. So if you're going to go there, if it's a walk-in, please do go early, because I've had people telling me that, they just let in a specific number and then tend everybody else, away from people who have been to these recruitment events. And people have literally had the police called in to disperse crowds, but they would let in a certain specific number of people. But you know how it is. Everybody is wanting to get into these great organizations. So if you're going to go there, please make it there early. That's all I had for you in this video. I'll see you in my next one.